Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and fellow taxpayers who are now funding dog grooming appointments and politically correct pub surveillance, welcome back to the only show where Parliament's circus meets your screen. And this week, oh boy, we're knee-deep in red noses, wagging tails, and a government that thinks criticism is a criminal offence. Because this time, folks, it's not looking good for Keir Starmer.
As the Prime Minister of the UK, that's Labor's Keir Starmer. And what about this shocking gaffe?
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
The return of the sausages? I mean, Liz, look.
Let's start with the scandal that has everyone's tails wagging, quite literally. A Labour MP has claimed £900 for their pet dog. That's not a typo. £900 for a dog every month on expenses. Now, either this is a reincarnated aristocrat in a fur coat, or it's a Labrador with a taste for Waitrose steak and a personal therapist. Because the rest of us are cutting corners, eating toasties for dinner, while this political pooch is probably off to spa days and aromatherapy. I mean, is the dog also advising Starmer on policy? Would explain a lot, to be honest.
So, what a banger of a front page story you have. MP's dog on expenses. You couldn't make it up. I love the headline. It's an exclusive. This is, though, somewhat serious. Perhaps you can explain a little bit more about it and why we, the tax-paying public, should be concerned.
Well, I think the main reason is the fact that the whole MP's expenses system seems to be geared up towards letting MPs have two homes. That's one in their constituency and then one in London. Now, that's if they live far enough away from London that they get that allowance. Now, the thing is here that one of the expenses that is allowed is the fact that an MP can give pet rent. They can get pet rent as part of that allowance.
I love dogs, who doesn't? But most of us don't send the bill for our cockapoo's grooming session to the taxpayer. Imagine trying that with HMRC. Yes, I need to expense the squeaky duck toy. It was a morale booster. Now you might think, surely it can't get worse.
And this MP, the Labour MP, Taiwo Owatemi, managed to claim £900 for her pet rent for her cockapoo, Bella. Now this, believe it or not, is completely within the rules. So she has done absolutely nothing wrong. So who should we blame? Should we blame the MP? Should we blame the whole system? But the fact that she has claimed £900 for a pet, for the pet's rent, just shows you that the system probably needs looking at.
Yes, arrested for expressing an opinion in a private group chat. Apparently, we've now entered the era of digital thought crime. Orwell was an optimist. At this rate, you'll be fined for passive-aggressive Facebook likes and TikTok eye rolls.
There's a big story on the front of the Times today. Maxie Allen is the man involved. He complained to his daughter's primary school about the recruitment process for a new head teacher. He hoped it would result in more openness and transparency, but instead, what happened was that 6 uniformed officers from Hertfordshire Police were sent to arrest him and his partner after the school objected to them sending numerous emails to their criticisms, including disparaging, what they said, comments on a parent's WhatsApp group.
Imagine the conversation at the police station. What are you in for, mate? I robbed 3 banks. You? I said the head teacher was a bit out of touch. And this is the Britain that Labour is building, a place where jokes are banned in pubs and your WhatsApp group chat gets you a visit from PC Banterbuster.
I was on a Zoom call for a work thing, and in the bit of the screen where you see yourself, I suddenly saw 2 police officers standing behind me. I saw the high-vis yellow of their vests. I hadn't heard them enter the house. And that was the first sign I knew that something very strange was happening. So I awkwardly tried to close down the Zoom, and a few moments later, they arrested me and read out quite a long and random list of things. But in chief, it was on suspicion of harassment and malicious communications. And meanwhile, another pair of officers were arresting Rosalind next door, and Rosalind opened the door.
Now let's talk about the main act of this clown show, Keir Starmer, the man who promised a sensible, grown-up politics. Turns out it's so grown-up it's boring, clueless, and more out of touch than a 1997 flip phone. Let me ask you something. Does anyone actually like Keir Starmer? Genuinely, even his own reflection looks like it's voting for someone else. He doesn't seem to appeal to the working class, the middle class, or even the upper class. He's managed the impossible to be universally meh. A leader with the charisma of a damp Jaffa cake and the policy vision of a broken Etch-a-Sketch. And yet, somehow, Labour are in power. How? Because the Tories set themselves on fire, but the people of Britain, they're fed up. Fed up with being ignored, fed up with being lectured, fed up with being told what jokes are appropriate and what opinions are arrest-worthy. Since Starmer took power, what have we seen? Pubs becoming no-go zones for laughter.
You have failed me.
Thank you. Okay.
I've been a Labour voter my entire life. You have failed to be the opposition. Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, you have failed this country.
Dogs with better expense accounts than most pensioners. Arrests over social media moans. U-turns, confusion, and a complete vacuum of inspiration. Labour ran on a promise of hope and change, but what we got was moan and muzzle. Policies are being rolled out like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Nothing sticks, but the kitchen's a mess. Clause 18, the banter ban, it demands that pub staff take reasonable steps to prevent harassment, but the way it's worded, any joke overheard by anyone, even if not directed at them, could lead to a lawsuit. So what do we get? Pub landlords forced to act as moral referees, doormen trained in emotional trigger assessment. And if Keir Starmer and his band of banter bashers think they can coast into another term with this circus act, they're in for a rude awakening. The clown car may have arrived, but the audience is starting to boo. So congratulations, Keir, for failing to lead, failing to listen, and making us all miss the days when we were only worried about potholes and train delays. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell us, what do you think Starmer will claim expenses for next? My money's on a therapy dog.